It was slow going last night for the Athletics. Bob Melvin and the boys were pushing for a kickstart to the second half, but the timing was off for the A's, and Sonny Gray was not himself as two long balls hurt the Cy Young candidate. Green and gold then went on to drop game one of the series to the Twins. Tonight it's Scott Kazmir's turn to shine. Kazmir's last start at the Coliseum was his best in an A's uniform as he dominated the Seattle Mariners. It's game two, A's and Twins, and it starts right now. Beautiful night for baseball at the O.co Coliseum, and we got a pitching matchup of a couple of veterans. The right-hander Phil Hughes will pitch for the Twins, and the left-hander Scott Kazmir will pitch for the Athletics. It's game two of this three-game series. It's the Oakland A's and the Minnesota Twins coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Scott Kazmir will be making his 18th start of the year. And Ray, 3 innings in his last start. That was 9 days ago, so he's had some time off, and he is healthy. So we're looking forward to seeing what Scott Kazmir has tonight.
Yeah, that's the best thing about being healthy, because 3 innings against the New York Yankees at that time that you mentioned. But Scott Kazmir, very important for this ball club. You look at his numbers pitching at home against the Seattle Mariners, but one of the best starts was against his former team, the Angels. He had not pitched against them. He did that here at the Coliseum and pitched very well, and that probably did such a lot for him confidence-wise, but he's a great pitcher, especially pitching here at home.
Now the Twins' Torrey Hunter is celebrating his 40th birthday today. Happy birthday to Torrey Hunter. And this guy's amazing, Ray, because if you look at his career, he's playing right now the way he did 10 years ago. It looks like he hasn't lost anything.
He's called the Energizer Bunny. He's got so much energy, and the Minnesota Twins really thrive on him being on the field. He can play defense outstanding. He won 9 Gold Gloves, 7 as a Minnesota Twin, playing center field, of course, at the Metrodome. But what he brings this ball club is like a second manager for Paul Molitor. He comes up with the big hits. He did that against the A's at Target Field. But I think for Paul Molitor in his first year managing, he knows he has this young man, Torrey Hunter. He's a leader on the field, off the field, in the clubhouse, and I think that's a great attribute for him, but also for the manager.
Yeah, whatever he's doing, it's working, because the Twins are having a terrific season, and they are right in the thick of a pennant race. So the A's trying to even up this series at a game apiece. Kazmir and Hughes is your pitching matchup, and we'll have lineups and first pitch when we come back. Big night at the ballpark. The giveaway, the Hello Kitty bobblehead. Young ladies are very happy, so big crowd on hand for game 2 of the series. We'll be back.
California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the new black pepper cheeseburger today, only at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
Oh, happy birthday to Torrey Hunter. You know what? 40's just a number in life. The way he's playing, should be 25 years
He's a young man.
Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. 72 degrees. And, of course, an hour earlier start than last night. So we'll get some sunshine and maybe some shadows to deal with in the early part of this ball game. But a big crowd on hand tonight for Saturday Night Baseball here at the Coliseum. Let's look at the starting lineup for the Twins. Brian Dozier will lead it off, followed by Torrey Hunter, Joe Mauer, Miguel Sano, Trevor Plouffe, Eddie Rosario, Aaron Hicks, Kurt Suzuki, and Eduardo Escobar.
July the 8th, last time Scott Kazmir was on the mound at Yankee Stadium, 3 innings. And, of course, a no decision. The A's ended up losing that game, but 1 start for Scott Kazmir against the Twins this year back at Target Field. And the A's are not fare well. They lost 3 or 4. One of those when Scott Kazmir was the pitcher. So A's will try to win the second game, even the series, and try to win the series this weekend series tomorrow afternoon.
So Kazmir is ready to go as Brian Dozier steps in. The Twins won last night by a final score of 5-0. So the Twins playing well.
Saying if you can get Dozier out, start the game, we got a better chance. Because last night, he did not waste any time.
Swings at the first pitch here, rolls it foul down the third baseline. Twins come in 50-40. They've won 4 in a row. They've won 7 out of 8. So they are right in the thick of the playoff push. They trail the Royals by 4 games.
2-2 fastball from Sonny Gray last night. You're seeing and witnessing something that he had never done, giving up a leadoff home run. And Dozier, his 20th, and of course 2 walk-offs last week for the Twins before he hit a home run in the All-Star game, and did it last night in the first inning, first at bat to start the second half.
Count stays 0-2 on the foul ball by Dozier.
And what an aggressive leadoff hitter. Paul Molitor was one himself. They called him the Igniter. Paul Molitor, and of course Hall of Fame inductee, 2004, same year for Dennis Eckersley and late Lon Simmons.
Change up outside. So Kazmir with 9 days since his last start. We'll see if he can shake the rust off early.
Backing up a changeup. Good one.
Laurie hustling over, and Laurie slides, cannot quite get it.
Stephen Vogt did not see it. He looked up, saw the sun, and he is still in the sun, as is the pitcher, and he would have had a better chance, but if you can't find the ball, you can't get to it. And Brett Laurie playing back because of the 2 strikes on the hitter, and a long run slide, just could not get to it. Great effort with all the foul territory, but Stephen Vogt was just lost and helpless, looking up into the sun and couldn't find it.
Expo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. Inside, 2-2 to Dozier. Torrey Hunter will be next, and then Joe Mauer. Twins are 19-24 on the road, so they've not been a great road team, but they have the best home record in the American League. Shallow left. Canna now has to hustle in, and Canna dives. He can't get it, and Dozier's going to end up at second. A little bit of a late break for Mark Canna. So lead-off double.
Went on the big swing, and I was just going to say, Cap, that whenever a team is playing well, little things happen, and a foul ball that could not be caught, a changeup that was hit, big swing, Canna broke back, tried to come in, tried to make a diving catch, did not. Dozier ends up at second when he should have been back in the dugout. And that's how quickly things can turn around. And outfielders, unfortunately, they go on a big swing. Dozier 20 home runs, so not surprising that with the swing on another changeup, they got out in front on the front foot. But as an outfielder, you go with a swing, you figure it's going to be hit hard, and it wasn't.
So here's Torrey Hunter. Yeah, that's a great point. None of that happens if you've lost 4 in a row and lost 7 out of 8.
Exactly.
It's just the way baseball is.
And at 7:05, 7:07 start. Stephen Vogt sees it, probably catches the ball near the dugout. And there's one out, but
can't get it on the dive by Laurie. So they'll hold Dozier at third. So first and third, nobody out for the Twins here in the first inning. Let's take a quick look at the A's defense. You saw Canna, he's in left. Burns in center, Reddick in right. Laurie, Simeon, Zobrist, and Davis on the infield with Vogt doing the catching. So an early situation for Kazmir as he faces Joe Mauer. After Mauer, it'll be the right-handed hitting Miguel Sano. Six home runs, 42 runs batted in for Mauer. He had a hit last night, 1 for 4.
Joe Mauer figured he's going to make contact, and he waits a long time. A's will play for 2 and give up a run if they can get a ground ball to get a double play. But Torrey Hunter actually did something that I think a lot of hitters should try to do at times. And that is runner at second and nobody out. You think about hitting the ball to the right side to advance him, yet Torrey Hunter got a base hit to left field. He advanced the runner, but it was a pitch that he could drive hard into left field and gets himself on. And who knows what kind of night he's going to have on his birthday. That's the beginning.
Good start so far. 1-1 to Mauer. That one's sliced foul. That's typical Joe Mauer. You could probably put that up just about every year.
67 hits to center or to left field. Fewer hits that he's pulled, and which means he waits a long time. But Scott Kazmir now can get greedy and try to get a strikeout and then hope for a double play. Sano, the on deck hitter. Strikeout would be first, though.
1-2 pitch is hit down the left field line, but it'll head into the seats.
And that fastball was on him, and he swung late, and that's because he waits as long as he does. Mauer.
Very seldom gets fooled, Joe Mauer. Blocked nicely by Vogt, keeping the runners where they are.
Great block to keep both runners, because at times when there's a runner at third, the catcher is concentrating on just blocking the ball to keep the runner from scoring. And the runner at first can take the extra lead and maybe even get to second base. That ball way out in front of the plate. Stephen Vogt, good job.
Torrey Hunter with a good lead at first. Dozier off the line at third. And Mauer watches it drop low, so a full count. Five for 24 in his career against Scott Kazmir. Kazmir making his 15th career start against the Twins.
I figure if Torrey Hunter does run to stay out on the 3-2, stay out of a double play and then strike him out, you would figure he's going to throw. But Dozier way down the line because Laurie's way off the bag at third.
Joe Mauer takes outside and he walked in.
Have to wonder about that pitch.
Take a look.
Well, it's very close to even think about taking, and Stephen Vogt, we'll see it is where it is over the plate. Fooled Joe Mauer. Stephen Vogt trying to keep it in the strike zone, and Mauer took it, figured as a ball, and took off to first base. And it's not where Stephen caught it, it's where across the plate. Ambolino thought it was a ball. Stephen flipped his mask up on top of his helmet to kind of indicate maybe he's having a conversation with it.
There's your umpires. Bellino, Morales, Marquez, and Hallion. So here is Sano. And the first pitch down and in. Miguel Sano hitting .350 with a couple of home runs, 8 RBIs. Swing and a miss. Fastball, 92 miles an hour.
Stephen Vogt and Sonny Gray both last night after the game talked about the patience of the Twins in the 6th inning. It's a big swing. I don't think he was thinking about taking pitches as he did last night. Probably the biggest at bat was his last night in the 6th. Started to bat 0-2 and then ended up walking to load the bases.
And that one right on the outside corner, 1-2. Good pitch by Kazmir.
One of the things we've seen from Scott Kazmir, while he does not throw 98 all the time, he still has a little bit of that in the back pocket, and he might be thinking about that in the big strikeout here, trying to do it with the right hand.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out at 94 miles an hour. So Sano got a couple of fastballs to hit and could not make contact.
And Cap, I think this is just a hitter saying, wait a minute, where is he getting that extra miles per hour? And remember the game against the Rangers here. He was not throwing hard at all at the beginning of the game and then started adding and subtracting later. He did it against the Angels, beating them, Seattle, and Sano just experienced Scott Kazmir at his best, especially with a 94 to finish it.
So 1 out. Here's Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe, foul tip. Plouffe had a big hit last night, about as big as you can get.
Hanging breaking ball, and I said a curveball. Stephen both said slider, and Stephen indicated that he has not seen him hang a slider the way he did last night, and Sonny was upset. But that's a pitch usually he bounces or keeps it down in the strike zone. Left that one up, especially 0-2.
Plouffe hits it high and foul, and Kazmir jumps ahead 0-2. So he's got Plouffe at a spot where he can keep the ball away from the middle of the plate.
I think Scott Kazmir has gone into the mode in the first inning of the bases loaded, nobody out, now 1 out. He might be thinking about later in the game showing a little bit extra, but he's trying to do that now in the first inning.
Pitch went with a fastball at 95 off the plate.
Tricep seems to be okay tonight.
I think it is.
Yeah, that left tricep that sent him to the clubhouse after just 3 innings in New York.
One-two pitch, reach for on the changeup, and Plouffe hit it right off the end of the bat.
By the way, if Kazmir was bouncing off the mound, back to him would have been a perfect 1-2-3 double play to end the inning.
On deck is a left-handed hitter, Eddie Rosario. Plouffe bounces one. Simeon has it. Flip to second out there. Double play. So the Twins load the bases with nobody out and do not score. So Kazmir gets himself out of the jam. Nicely done. Twins do not score, so let's take a look at the lineup for the Athletics tonight. Burns, Vogt, Zobrist, Reddick, Butler, Davis, Laurie, Canna, and Simeon.
Phil Hughes, the control artist on the mound for the Minnesota Twins, 8-6 record, and when the A's saw him back in May, he was 0-4. His first win of the season came against the Athletics, and now he is 8-6 with a .432 earned run average. So he is around the plate, just 11 walks, and it is something that is very rare. When he walks a batter, usually it's kind of intentionally walking somebody, because he is around the plate.
Bauer, Hughes, safe.
Yep.
You could see it coming. Once Joe Mauer went to make the play to his right, you knew Burns had a shot.
Well, last night Santana just a little bit quicker to the bag, and they got Billy Burns on a similar play. But this time, just a foot race, and Phil Hughes was a loser there. And that is Billy Burns at his best, getting down the line. Nice feed by Joe Bauer, but just a little bit late to the bag was the big man, and maybe an awkward step trying to find the bag. Maybe in that last step or two hurt Phil Hughes, but Billy Burns really hustling down the line, and that's a good start for the A's. And a good pitcher for Billy Burns, because Hughes is around the plate to be able to swing early in the count like he just did.
So here's Vogt. So for Burns, infield hit number 24.
See the step right there as he's reaching for the bag was Hughes, and Billy Burns got his left foot, his right foot on the bag just before Hughes got there. All it takes is a slight hesitation by a pitcher covering first base with a speedy runner, and that's just enough to allow him to be safe.
Vogt fouls it straight back, so the count 0-2.
Nice feed by Joe Mauer, and that's what you want. But the feed, it just was a pitcher, just a slight hesitation to cover the bag, and you have to know the ball hit the right side with Billy Burns. You better be moving quickly. Amazing.
Stephen Vogt takes low, 1-2 the count. Remember, Vogt in that start in Minnesota hit the grand slam off Hughes. Hughes did not give up a whole lot after that. So 1-2, Burns good lead, leaning, not going. Ball's fouled with a screen.
This was it on May the 6th. Stephen Vogt, first inning. All things look great for the A's. High fastball, and Stephen Vogt with his first career grand slam. And that gave the A's a 4-0 lead in the first inning. So many similarities to a game that Phil Hughes pitched against the A's on the 19th of April in 2014.
Roll towards second, flip to second, and Mauer digs it out. So Vogt hits into the 4-6-3 double play, and just like that, there are 2 outs.
To be honest, I'll take the A's getting a double play with Plouffe. Keep it a scoreless game. And that was tailor-made. Looked like it might be a slight bobble at first base by Joe Mauer, but he scooped it and kept the ball in his glove. There was no... Yes, sometimes the umpire will look to see if there's a little bit of a bobble by the first baseman with the bag, or the ball in the bag. But there it is.
So a lot of times that's obviously good infield play, but it depends on what kind of pitchers you have in your staff. One and one to Zobrist, hitting .262, 5 home runs, 31 RBI. Playing second base tonight is Zobrist.
I did not think that Phil Hughes would give up 5 runs, 4 in the first inning of the grand slam back in May, and end up winning the game because the Twins had 2 4-run innings that helped them win the game.
So 2-2 now to Zobrist, and that was the Twins taking 3 out of 4 from the A's. So the A's 1-4 now against Minnesota this year.
And it was the birthday boy had the big home run. Torrey Hunter had the big one late that capped the 4-run inning. That was in the 6th that helped Hughes pick up the win.
Good pitch there in on the hands of Zobrist. He fouls it back. A's are 41 and 51. The deficit is 9.5. So game number 93 for the Athletics. Foul territory, could have a play. Plouffe, and he does. Side retired. So Burns with the leadoff single, but nothing else. And we're headed to the 2nd. No score.
.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, statcast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or your tablet.
So 2nd inning. Rosario to lead it off. So the Hello Kitty bobblehead, a big hit tonight. That's the giveaway.
Well, we thought lines were big for Sonny Gray, Stephen Vogt, and for Hello Kitty, they were long. And plus an event next door at the arena.
Right.
With the parking lot and the lines for the people to get in for the Hello Kitty bobblehead.
Davis grabs it. He'll tag Rosario. So 1 away here in the 2nd inning. And they're still coming in again. A concert next door. And then a big crowd here tonight. Not a sellout, but a big crowd. So busy place. Coliseum Complex. 1 away for Aaron Hicks, the switch hitting center fielder, hitting .260 with 3 homers, 9 RBIs. As we mentioned last night, of course, the Twins have the super prospect Byron Buxton, who's on the disabled list. Buxton injured his thumb toward the end of June. So he will be back, and then he will be put back in center field.
A young man like that, he's going to play.
He's going to play. Yes, he is.
And nice to have guys to step in when a player like that gets injured. Terry Ryan, the great general manager for the Twins, is with the club. Of course, he has to be extremely happy. Of course, coming back to the Twins after a little bit of a layoff and taking over a club that was not playing that well, but now they are. So good to see it for him.
And a good changeup from Kazmir. He gets his 2nd strikeout.
Strikeout was big, but this was even bigger, and this was the strikeout with Sano, and then how about with Plouffe getting a fastball perfectly to Simeon. He could have taken it himself. Instead, he flipped it to Zobrist, a 6-4-3 double play. And for Scott Kazmir, that's the way to do it. Double play after you get the strikeout. That gets you out of the inning. And I think we have seen him add and subtract so well. Good changeup to get the strikeout with Hicks, and of course the fastball to blow away Sano.
Facing Kurt Suzuki. Kurt was 0 for 4 last night. Suzuki hitting in the A spot. Eduardo Escobar in the 9th spot.
He's got Malia, his daughter, 4-year-old. He's probably looking for a Hello Kitty bobblehead.
Oh, yeah. In the air to right, a very long run for Reddick, but he will get there, and he makes the catch in fair territory, and that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Scott Kazmir. Bottom of the 2nd coming up. California is brought to you by Casino Matrix, Silicon Valley's premier 24/7 entertainment destination. Twins nothing, A's nothing. Bottom of the 2nd inning. Reddick, Butler, and Davis against Phil Hughes, the 29-year-old right-hander. First pitch to Reddick in first strike. 2nd year with the Twins for Phil Hughes after 7 years with the Yankees. The Yankees' #1 draft pick back in 2004. Had some good years with the Yankees, but you always felt like in New York, being a first-round draft pick, that he was good, but he wasn't good. He wasn't as good as everybody expected him to be, and he was pretty decent.
Yeah, there's probably a change of scenery thing for him that turned out to be very, very good for his career.
It's a good call.
And kind of throws like he's throwing darts, like a short arm, which sometimes a little difficult to pick up. His numbers for the last 5 games. Remember, he started the season 0-4, so he has picked it up, as have the Twins. But you watch his delivery, comes out right there and just sneaks up on you a little bit.
He has not lost since June 8th. That was 6 starts ago. So he's on a nice little roll. And now 3-2. Got that little circle with his arm.
Yeah, but just watch where his release point is. He brings it up and then right there. And from a hitter standpoint, you have to watch him in the dugout, in the on-deck circle, and especially at the plate. But if he's a control artist, which he is, 3-2, here it comes. I'm not going to walk you. Rick Anderson, longtime pitching coach with the Twins, and Tom Kelly and Ron Gardenhire. It's like, if you pitch for the Twins, you're going to throw strikes. And it's carried forward with the new regime, new manager, pitching coach.
Down the left field line, Rosario, long run into foul territory, and he makes the catch. So Reddick is retired. It's interesting with Hughes, after the 2013 season, he signed a free agent contract with the Twins, a 3-year deal. And then after last year, he signed an extension, which you just don't see very often. So he signed a 3-year extension on top of that original contract. So he is signed now through the 2019 season, which you don't see that whole lot. They had a nice year last year, and the Twins were looking for kind of an anchor to their starting rotation.
I think there was something right at the end. If he had made another third of an inning at like $500,000, he said no. And
That's
didn't.
right, yeah.
And so, I mean, really, he forfeited money, which selfishly he could have gotten. And at that point, the Twins said they wanted to give him the money, but they couldn't legally as far as the contract was concerned. So they just extended it, which says a lot about Phil Hughes and not getting to the point that he was just going to do something for that extra bonus.
There's a shot to center and a base hit for Billy Butler.
That's what happens when a pitch is elevated, a pitcher makes a mistake. And Billy Butler, even with 0-2, great shot with a base hit up the middle on a high fastball. Timing seemed to be a little bit better tonight for the Athletics, and especially on this pitch where Butler got on top of an elevated fastball, protected with 2 strikes. And when you're an opposite field hitter and have with power, that's a great swing on 2 strikes.
So second hit for the A's, and here's Ike Davis. Davis 244 with 3 home runs. First pitch is a strike. But what the Twins are kind of hoping for is they have 3 veteran starting pitchers. Hughes, Santana, who we saw last night, and Ricky Nolasco, who is on the disabled list. They're all 3 signed for a handful more years, and they're kind of hoping that those 3 guys lead this staff. Nolasco hasn't really panned out just yet.
They also are happy to have Tommy Milone, formerly the Athletics, in the rotation because he adds lefty, because they're pretty much right-handed dominant.
He's pitching great, too.
Yes, he is. And just a different type of pitcher following Hughes. And Tommy Milone, of course, can change speeds very effectively, just like Scott Kazmir is doing tonight.
Mike Davis down the left field line. Twins are also getting a very nice season from the young man Kyle Gibson.
Yeah.
He's pitched well for them. Tommy Milone will pitch tomorrow here at the Coliseum.
He's familiar with this park. There's Irvin Santana, one of the writers covering the story last night. Remembered him as an Angel. He said, well, the Angel starting pitcher, Irvin Santana. He pitched all those years, and they thought he was still pitching for them, but a 4-year contract with the Twins. And I think your point last night about him coming back, just making his 3rd start, starting the second half of the season. I mean, you got a strong pitcher for 2.5 months.
Yep. In a pennant race, and then you get a guy like Santana back.
And then they could still maybe do something that trading deadlines if they desire.
Into right field, that's a hit. So Butler to second, stops there. A couple of 1-out signals.
Well, Irvin Santana, when he got a 1-0 lead, then a 5-0 lead, did not change his game. And there's the breaking ball. And Stephen Vogt, you have to give him a lot of credit for the stand-up guy that he is. And that's played by Joe Mauer, nice feed to Santana, who got to the bag quickly. But he just kept changing the different angles of his breaking ball. And I think that's what fooled a lot of the A's hitters, because they had not seen him a lot. But Santana has pitched very well, and with his new team, pitching the same way, and maybe just a little bit better with the location of his pitches. Meanwhile, a very good 2-strike hit by Ike Davis following Billy Butler's 2-strike hit.
So here's Laurie. And the first pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Laurie hitting .281 with 8 homers, 37 RBI. Out there again, strike 2 call. Hughes working the outside corner. Pretty good pitch. Tough one to hit.
It's like a 2-seamer starting outside, which was a very good pitch for a right-hander to the right-handed hitter.
Fastball high. Laurie was 1 for 4 last night. 43 average in his last 6 games. He's got just a couple of RBIs in the last 17 games, so chance for him to not get a run here. On the ground, Dozier dives. He'll get the out at first just in time. So Dozier takes a hit away from Laurie. The runners go to second and third, but now 2 outs.
Well, excellent play. See where Dozier's playing. That's for a possible double play, and for him to range, stay on the dirt, spin, look at second, realize no play there with Ike Davis, and be able to still throw to first base in plenty of time to get the hustling Brett Laurie. That is a very good play, and the range is important, and to take the right angle. He didn't like the first pitch. That's that yelling right there. The first strike that was called on him. Thought it was too low, but pitcher has a reputation of being around the strike zone. He's going to get pitches.
Yep. First pitch to Canna is hit in the air, right field. Torrey Hunter jogs in. He's got it side retired. So the A's get a couple of hits. They strand 2. So we're on to the third. No score.
Dogs to the A's 7:05 p.m. game against the Houston Astros. Special ticket is required for Bark at the Park, presented by Donabone, Adams, and Abadirn. This event sells out annually, and limited tickets remain. For information and tickets, visit athletics.com/bark at the park today.
Top of the third. Escobar, Dozier, and Hunter.
I like to see some of the baseball players bark at the park, because
I think one A's player is barking right now. That's
certain things happen and they start barking.
Brett Laurie is not happy with the umpire in his last at bat. Hit hard, scooped up by Zobrist. Escobar is out.
2-0 challenge. Here it is. Hit it someplace. He hit it hard, but right to an infielder. That's good pitching.
Number 2, Ryan.
I think if guys realize that the fastball, we talked last night how hard it is to hit a fastball sometimes. I mean, Stephen Vogt was raving about the fastball pitches he caught in the All-Star game, and the one DeGrom he tried to hit, nothing but fastballs. And it's a high percentage pitch. And it does not mean that you throw it, every hitter is going to be able to drive it someplace.
So you're saying, put it all together, maybe they're at the All-Star game because they have good fastball.
Exactly. That's a great one, because
they have good ones and they know how to use it.
Stephen Vogt, the one he faced was DeGrom, fastball pitcher, and he caught Kansas, 98, Britton, and Chris Archer. So Archer, of course, is a very good slider, but you know, I think it's something that interleague play. The A's will be in San Francisco next weekend, and they're going to be facing some pitchers and say, wow, that fastball is pretty hard to hit. Yeah.
I've seen that Jacob DeGrom pitch a couple times on TV. Boy, he is nasty. He was the Rookie of the Year last year in the National League, so he's not a secret. Dozier, 3-1 pitch. The knees, 3-2.
And if that had been called a ball, really, there'd been a lot of barking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was similar to one called with Brett Laurie last inning, and it was a first pitch strike, but that is Dan Bellino, the home plate umpire, calling.
Shallow center. Zobrist settles underneath it. He's got it for the second out.
And there's your 3-2 fastball at 92. Ryan Dozier, 20 home runs, and he gets a 3-2 fastball, and he hits it straight up in the air. But there's maybe just a little bit extra from Scott Kazmir. I mean, that says it all right there. And that hitter's going to go back to the guy and say, you got to be kidding me. That was a 3-2 fastball. Knew it was coming and just jumped on and hit it straight up. That's why home runs are hit on mistake pitches. 3-2 fastball down the middle is not a mistake.
In the air toward Reddick, shading his eyes with his right hand. And he's got it. So Scott Kazmir has settled in. We're going to the bottom of the third. It'll be Simeon, Burns, and Vogt. No score. California.com as our A's insider Joe Stiglitz provides wire-to-wire reporting for this A's 2015 season. He's got breaking news, video, special features, and more only on CSNCalifornia.com. Marcus Semien leading it off for the A's here in the bottom of the third. Semien hitting .257 with 8 home runs and 22 RBIs. Semien in last night's game was 1 for 3. Good swing, fouls it straight back. Fastball at 90 miles an hour. No walks, no strikeouts for Hughes in the first 2 innings. He's given up 3 hits. Strike 3 called on what looked like maybe a little cut fastball on the inside corner.
Front door cutter.
It's a good pitch.
It's a pitch that he has. He throws effectively, and this is a curveball and changeup. And you see Suzuki set up inside, and there's your front door cutter. Of course, you know, whenever you pitch for the New York Yankees at a time when one Mariano Rivera is your closer, you're going to learn a cutter.
You would think.
And it's always funny that Joe Girardi said, I did not want Mariano Rivera to go to the All-Star game because he taught all the relievers how to throw the cutter. And if you are a relief pitcher or a pitcher in general, and Mariano Rivera is there, Mo, what can you help me with? What can you teach me? He's such a nice guy. He was always willing to help, and I'm sure Phil Hughes learned it from the best, the master.
So 1-1 to Burns, who singled in the first. In the air to left, Rosario gets back, but he's got time to get back there, settle underneath it. And that's out number 2. And really, Ray, Hughes is, I mean, he's a good pitcher, but his approach is kind of the way you'd like to see a pitcher go at it. He works quickly. He uses his fastball. He throws strikes. I wouldn't say his stuff is dominant, but
he's consistent in the strike zone. And what he did to Semien, starting with a fastball, got a strike. Threw him a breaking ball out of the strike zone. And there's a first pitch curveball for a strike. But if you can throw a curveball to get somebody to chase a pitch, knowing that you can throw the fastball for a strike, you can afford to waste pitches.
Toward Plouffe, with the shift on, Plouffe fires, and they just get Stephen Vogt on a very close play. So it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Phil Hughes, and we're on to the 4th from the Coliseum. No score between the A's and the Twins. Sensory overload at the NHRA Sonoma Nationals, July 31st through August 2nd. It'll be at Sonoma Raceway. Visit racesonoma.com for tickets today. No score, top of the 4th inning. Both pitchers sharp. Phil Hughes and Scott Kazmir. Joe Mauer to lead it off for the Twins. Joe Mauer walked in the first inning. The walk loaded the bases for the Twins with nobody out, but they could not get a run home. Sano to follow, and then Plouffe.
Talk about a pitcher coming in to save a game maybe in the 7th or 8th before the 9th inning even comes around. For a starting pitcher, sometimes getting out of the gate positively, especially after bases loaded, nobody out. It's a big boost for Scott Kazmir in the Athletics, and he proved it, and proving to a lot of people that he knows how to pitch. And probably the biggest thing, and we've always said since he's joined the A's last year and this year, he is a pitcher, and he has proven that. The first inning was a great example.
1-2 pitch, foul to our left.
Usually with a hitter who waits as long as Joe Mauer does to throw fastballs, because he's going to let the ball get on him. You're going to see a lot of foul balls, as he did on that one, fouling to the left side. Playing him straight up, slightly to left field, very shallow left is Cano.
Slowly hit, right side of the mound, and Joe Mauer, who runs pretty well, is going to have a hit. Zobrist was playing deep, so that made it a tough play. He had a long ways to come in and charge that ball, so a leadoff single.
And he does something he rarely does. He rolled over on a breaking ball and hit it perfectly. He could not have thrown it any more perfectly. And now, as a first baseman versus a catcher, he's supposed to run faster, and he does. For a big man, get down the line. Kazmir was not going to be there. I mean, even if he is there, it's not going to be a play that anybody can make. He just happened to hit it where nobody happened to be playing.
So here's Miguel Sano. Sano struck out with the bases loaded and nobody out in the first inning. Couple of strikeouts for Kazmir. He's walked one. And Sano tried to hold up, and he did.
I think he's so quick with his bat when he goes out. Watch how quickly he takes it out and brings it back. And really, it's the left hand and the arm pulling forward, but the bat staying back at an angle towards the catcher.
And now 1-2.
Another good changeup, and see the rotation, and it's way out in front.
Plouffe to follow. Right-handed hitter. Strike 3 called. So Sano strikes out for the second time. This time looking. First time it was swinging.
Change up, fool him, and then throw the fastball. And that's exactly what he did, down in the lower part of the zone. And there's the home plate umpire, Dan Bellino, calling the pitch.
So here's Plouffe, who swings at a changeup and missed it. How about this? Most common strikeout pitch this year. The fastball. The strikeouts, 51% of his strikeouts are on the fastball, up 11% from last year. Interesting.
I think Scott Kazmir with fastball and changeup. He had a lot of success.
He could get by, no question, because he really does not throw his slider, curveball all that much. Could be two. Zobrist, Simeon, double play. Second time tonight, Trevor Plouffe has hit into a double play. Bottom of the fourth coming up, but it'll be Zobrist, Reddick, and Butler. No score. Year. Watch this catch by Aaron Hicks. In center field, kind of looks like Willie Mays in the 1954 World Series. 2 outs and a man on, and he goes over the shoulder right in front of the fence. A sensational catch by Aaron Hicks. Lots of room in that ballpark.
Yep. It's probably sounded like a home run off the bat, as a lot of them do at Target Field.
That's what Vic Ward said, right? In the 54 World Series.
But that was about 600 feet from the center polo ground.
The oddest configuration ever. Zobrist to lead it off. He fouled out to third to end the first inning. Phil Hughes has retired 5 in a row.
He's faced 12 batters, Cap, and he has 12 first pitch strikes.
How about that?
He's just a machine, and I think when he takes the mound, he kind of toys with the hitter, saying, okay, I'm going to tease you certain pitches. And probably the best inning for the A's in this game was the first, getting out of a bases loaded jam with nobody out, because you have to, I mean, it says it right there, 70% strikes, 12 for 12. And you have to have a dominant pitcher against a Twins ball club.
What a play by Mauer. Diving catch of the line drive.
And you have to have defensive plays like that to take away extra bases. And Joe Mauer, he was a catcher, but he made the play at first base and takes a double away from Ben Zobrist starting this 4th inning. Very nice play by Joe Mauer.
So that'll bring up Reddick. I would think Hughes would be a great guy to play behind. Throw strikes. Not afraid to let the hitter put the ball in play.
He doesn't walk hitters, and he has 1 strikeout. We mentioned Santana last night. 1 walk, 1 strikeout.
More action for Mauer. Scoops it up. 2 outs. So Reddick is 0 for 2.
I think one of the things that the team gets into in facing someone, Phil Hughes, who throws strikes, and you know he's throwing strikes. In the case of Reddick, he might have swung at a pitch out of the strike zone the first one, but as a fastball, it looked good. He swung and fouled it back, but it's a first pitch strike. So Hughes can maybe get first pitch strikes at times when maybe he doesn't throw a strike, because hitters are aggressively going after the first offer.
Pitch to Butler, a breaking ball that catches the inside corner. Big overhand curve. Butler had a base hit to center field in the second inning. On the ground is short. Escobar scoops. Side retired. That's an 8-pitch inning for Phil Hughes. He's retired 8 in a row. 5th inning coming up. Photo to CSNCA Data Strong Fan, and you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Todd Schwenk from Oakland, sporting the white suit, green shirt, gold tie. I would say he's got it covered. So top of the 5th inning, Eddie Rosario to lead it on. Rosario grounded out in the 2nd inning.
What if he'll come dressed like that when the White Sox come in for the milkman?
They could sit next to each other. Ray, remember what Eddie Rosario did in Minnesota against Kazmir? His first major league at bat. He hit a home run the opposite way at Target Field.
Sped around the bases.
Yeah, he was very excited. Not just his first at bat in the big league, it was the first pitch he saw in the big leagues. Hits this one in the air to Burns. So first pitch Eddie Rosario ever saw in the big leagues, this is what he did.
Scott shaking his head, and he had me thinking at least take a pitch. In the big leagues for the first time, first major league at bat, take a pitch. Nope.
0 for 2 tonight, and here's Aaron Hicks. A little bit low to Hicks. Hicks struck out in the 2nd inning. He's now 0 for 5 in the series. Mariners won earlier today. They beat the Yankees 4-3 to even up that series in a game apiece. Robinson Cano hit a couple of home runs.
Like a Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, that's right. Iwakuma got the win. Pineda the loss. Smith the save. So the Mariners, a little bit like the Athletics, just trying to get something going. 2-1 pitch is lined to Simeon under his glove and into left field for a hit. Canna misplayed it briefly. So a shot that Simeon went down on the backhand, but it was hit extremely hard.
You talk about, and Simeon, I mean, this is a fall. I mean, he barely had a chance to get down, and oh, by the way, they said it's a base hit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If that's who's the error on? No, that ball was maybe one of the hardest hits tonight.
So a 1-out runner for the Twins, and here's Kurt Suzuki. Suzuki hit a fly ball to right field in the second inning. Hicks has 7 steals, been thrown out 3 times, and he's got a pretty good lead. Mike Davis holding him on, but kind of out in front of the bag a little bit. You see some teams do that. He's actually about a step toward the pitcher. He's Ike Davis. Not right now, but that's where he will move himself up to.
That's the old Mike Scioscia move that he had lefty pitcher and with the first baseman, so he could take away a little bit that space and move out a little bit quicker. Because the hole created between first and second.
I do think it allows the runner to get a little bit bigger lead.
I agree, because I don't see how a first baseman actually knows when the pitcher is going to make a throw over.
Hicks has a very big lead. Towards Simeon. He scoops out at second, and that's a double play. So that's the third double play the A's have turned tonight. So bottom of the 5th coming up. No score.
Next Wednesday, A's players, coaches, local celebrities, and more will serve fans root beer floats for $3 each. Proceeds benefit JDRF, adding to the more than $400,000 the event has raised throughout the years. Sugar-free floats will be available. Special thanks to Dreyer's Ice Cream, Whole Foods Market, and Zevia, the zero-calorie soda for product donations. Admission is free with a game ticket.
First pitch to Ike Davis, drops in for a strike from Phil Hughes. Hey, another first pitch strike.
He's perfect. Very rare that you can say that a pitcher is perfect through 4 innings plus a batter, but that's what Phil Hughes does. And started the season 0-4. Now he's won 4 straight. So that says a lot about Phil Hughes. And I think we You really have to look at the success of the Twins. It all works hand in hand.
1-2 the count to Davis. Hughes has retired 8 in a row. Davis single in the second inning. That's the last base runner he has. Just off the plate. Crowd tonight is 30,771. SpongeBob in the house making a late entrance.
What if you got the Hello Kitty bobblehead?
I thought it was a 7:05 first pitch. Two pitch is reach for, hit foul. So the count remains 2-2 with Laurie to follow, and then Canna here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
We have beach balls at Angel Stadium, and we have SpongeBob here. SpongeBob and balloons.
SpongeBob on Hello Kitty night. Again, foul back. This one right there in foul ball alley. And a gentleman with a sunny gray jersey reached up and made a nice play.
It's a change-up side.
Floats outside. So 3-2 to Davis, trying to get something going.
And if walks are rare, look for something to hit. That's what Ike Davis will be doing as Brett Laurie waits the on deck zone. I'm going to throw him a fastball.
And he missed badly, so a leadoff walk. Good start for the A's here in the 5th.
On to the 12th walk of the season for Phil Hughes. That is. That's amazing. Those are pretty impressive numbers, and Nick, you said it best, Cap. You love to play behind a guy. You know he's going to throw strikes.
Yep.
You know he's going to work quickly.
Laurie rounded out in the 2nd inning. Dozier made a nice play. This one hit high in the air, playable for Rosario left. Drifts into left center field, and he has it. So 1 out.
First pitch strike.
Yep. Better yet for Hughes, a first pitch out.
That's true.
So here's Cannon.
Pitch count though just at 58 with 1 out in the 5th inning, and I did. If you want to pitch a complete game, 9 innings, 12 pitches. I mean, it's remarkable, but you throw strikes. And if you tease hitters and you don't walk batters, that means you're going to keep your pitch count down. You're going to be able to pitch late in the game.
Canna hit a fly ball to right field, his first at bat. Getting it started tonight in left field. First pitch strike. Rangers are leading the Astros 5-4 in the 9th inning. That is in Houston, so good ball game down there. See how that turns out. Rangers trying to break a little 3-game losing streak. At the knees for a strike. Angels are leading the Red Sox 2-0 in the 4th inning down in Anaheim. Porcello and Richards, your pitching matchup there. Something weird is happening down there. It's raining.
Yeah.
They had tarp on the field, no batting practice this afternoon, and it's been raining a little bit during the game as well.
I heard someone say about, I guess the Sunday night game is in Anaheim.
Oh, is it that game?
And they talked about maybe rain.
Huh.
And here we are on Saturday night. It's rain. Push some of it this way.
Yeah, please do.
A lot of rain in Chicago today on the south side. White Sox and Kansas City, a game that the Twins are interested in because Kansas City did hang on to win that game over the White Sox.
1-2 to Canna. Here's the pitch, just a touch low. 2-2. Davis, the runner at first, 1 out. Delivers. Popped up, foul territory, into the seats behind the Twins dugout.
Well, the Stephen Vogt grand slam we talked about, but also Mark Canha. Second deck for Mark Canha at Target Field. So 5 runs total that Hughes gave up. Grand slam and the Mark Canha home run, but he won the game 8-7. Thanks to 2 4-run innings. So Mark Canha, I'm sure, remembers that. Hughes obviously remembers what Stephen Vogt did because he's not pitched him anywhere close to what he did in the first game when he faced him this year.
Yeah, that'll go just past. Don't take it again. Interesting note, Ray. We're talking about the fact that he doesn't walk anybody. But he does give up home runs.
It's because he's around the plate.
That's true.
And it really helps him, and it helps a hitter. And here's 3-2, and you're right. Don't take that same fastball 3-2 because you might get run up.
22 home runs he's allowed this year. That's a lot. Pitch, base hit right field. Mike Davis will stop at second base. So the A's with a couple of base runners here in the bottom of the 5th.
Another right-handed pitcher, another base hit, another hit for Mark Canha against a righty. And Mark Canha, this is a great job of hitting. Fastball outside, and while he hit a home run in the second deck at Target Field against Hughes, this time he goes opposite field with a huge hole on the right side. Dozier thinking he was going to pull the ball, but Mark Canha better and better every time he plays, especially hitting the ball that direction.
So 4 hits now off Hughes, and a chance for Marcus Semien to give the A's the lead. Hit hard, Kloof steps on third, across the diamond, double play. So that's the second double play turned by the Twins tonight. So the A's with an opportunity, but they do not score, and we're moving to the 6th. Still, it's a 0-0 game.
A's players for the 2016 Oakland Athletics Fantasy Camp held from January the 15th to the 21st at the A's new spring training facility in Mesa, Arizona. Get out of the stands and onto the field. Create your lasting memories with former A's greats. For more details, go to hendersonbaseball.com or call 509-993-7338.
X here.
He's going to run the big head.
That's right.
You always see Eck with the big head. And it's big.
Escobar, Dozier, and Hunter against Scott Kazmir. Escobar grounded out to the second baseman in his first at bat. Danny Santana played shortstop last night for the Twins. Escobar tonight. That's the only change in the Twins lineup from last night.
Similar count, first at bat. 2-0 fastball. Grounded hard to second for an out. This time he takes the 2-0 fastball. Escobar does.
Strike outside corner. May have been a little off the plate, but Kazmir will take it. And that is just foul. That's Gene Flynn, the Twins' third base coach.
Well, Scotty's doing so well down protecting the bullpen. Guys don't even move anymore when he runs in front of them.
Full confidence.
Just don't miss it.
Reddick backing over. And he's got it.
The only difference in the first 5 innings, these two pitchers, the fact that Scott Kazmir struck out 3, Phil Hughes 1, both with 8 ground ball outs, and pitching great. And for Phil Hughes, a big double play on a 5-3 ball hit hard by Marcus Semien. Anywhere left or right, the A's have scored at least 1, maybe 2 runs, but Hughes ends up getting the double play. He's probably disappointed that bases loaded in the first inning, especially with Dozier getting the bloop double in left field and loading the bases, didn't score before he took them out.
So the A's have turned 3 double plays. Twins have turned 2. 2-0 to Dozier. Rangers are adding on. They've scored a couple runs in the top of the 9th inning, so it's now 7-4 Rangers over the Astros. .76 pitches for Kazmir with 1 out in the 6th. Dozier hits one high in the air to shallow right. 2 away. All right, tonight's cold hard facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Torrey Hunter, of course, started his career with the Twins, now back in Minnesota. His all-time ranks with the Twins: 7th in home runs, 12th in RBIs, 14th in stolen bases, top 20 in runs and hits. And I'm telling you, if you just look at his year-to-year statistics, they're very similar. From right now to what he did last year to what he did 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's pretty remarkable. So 0-2.
Some Twin Cities fans to watch the Twins here. But I think what Torrey Hunter has done, whether it's for the Twins, then to the Angels, then to the Tigers, he's always been a team-first player. And he knew that Mike Trout was an up-and-coming star, and we all see that. MVP last year, Torrey Hunter helped him as he seems to mentor a lot of players. And that's why it's nice to have somebody his veteran status with the ball club, especially one that is relatively young.
And he reached for that one, just got a piece of it, and it got a piece of both. That looks like a young Torrey.
Yeah, he's always played well, and I tell you, one of the ones that everybody will remember the All-Star game was in Chicago when he robbed Barry Bonds. Bonds picked him up.
That's right.
As he ran in, Bonds just literally picked him up off the ground.
Good fastball from Kazmir, and he gets his 4th strikeout. So that's a 3-up, 3-down inning. Bottom of the 6th coming up. The A's will have the top of their order trying to break the 0-0 tie.
been pitching. Phil Hughes is perfect with every batter he's faced. First pitch strike. And for Scott Kazmir, he is matching him. How about 3 double play ground balls to get out some big innings? That was a first inning with nobody out. Bases loaded. This is another 4-6-3 double play. And how about another one? Kurt Suzuki, 6-4-3 double play. And Scott Kazmir pitching great, mixing fastballs, changeups, and doing exactly what you want a pitcher to do. Work quickly, find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK AT&T, mobilizing your world.
First pitch swinging Billy Burns. It's a foul ball, and our guy caught it. There he is.
Yeah.
That's our guy, 24 Chang. And he always gives it away. See, that was easy. He just stood up, didn't have to move laterally, right out.
You know, if you watch him with left-handed hitters, he's right there. Left-handed hitters, he sits down, he puts his glove on. With right-handed hitters, he waves the flag because he knows only left-handed hitters are going to hit him that direction.
That's right. It would be very difficult for a right-handed hitter to hit a foul ball there.
Yeah, makes a lot of friends. Thank you. That's very nice of you. That's
more.
Okay. I'll get another one before the game is over. If not, a few more.
He has a good time, and you know what? He is here every game.
At same seat. And I look down, and he's waving the flag, the big Oakland A's flag. And I look down as a right-handed hitter, and you know, it's like
the Mauler.
The Mauler, yeah. I'm just thinking the Mauler with the hats. You know, these guys know their game.
Let's see, 1, 2. He's about 3 sections down from us.
Plaza level.
So we get.
I mean, it's a perfect area. You called it right. Foul ball territory. Foul ball alley.
Especially for somebody like Burns, who's going to slap at the ball, foul it back. Hughes off the mound. He'll underhand to get Burns 1 out.
And he knows the A's lineup because he knows it's left Burns, left Vogt, left Zobrist, left Reddick. Butler will be the next time that he will be waving the flag.
And it's not the white flag.
No, it's the Oakland A's flag. The A's no offense last night, and you know what? No offense tonight. And you go back to Cleveland when they scored just 2 runs.
They did that.
And the last time they did that,
4th inning?
4th inning with a Stephen Vogt 2-run home run. And that's it.
So 5 innings in Cleveland, 9 last night. That's 14. And 5 tonight. So 19 consecutive scoreless innings spread out over 7 days.
7 days, yeah. Vogt has been in Cleveland, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, now Oakland, California. He's looking to see that Plouffe has come in since he attempted a bunt. Saw that he's moved in a little bit more and decided to swing away with a pretty good fastball. By the way, Vogt is the first batter tonight that Phil Hughes did not throw a first pitch strike.
Right. Came back with a second pitch strike.
And if it had been a strike, Vogt would have bunted the ball for a base hit, probably to third base.
Rosario in, and he's got it.
Well, Stephen Vogt, this is against Corey Kluber. 2-run home run after a walk in front of him, and that was it. Sonny Gray, his battery mate, pitched a 2-hit shutout. And as Stephen Vogt went out the mound, he said, now let's go have some fun in Cincinnati, which they took their party bus along with Kipnis. I thought Kipnis was funny when they asked him about party bus. Hey, we have a party. He said, we stopped. We got diapers. Got some DVDs to keep the babies. Had to get some diapers for 3 babies on the bus. So it was
so it wasn't just 3 all-stars going together. It was 3.
Well, those babies thought they were all-stars too.
Families.
But they went to Cincinnati, American League 1. So they know that come World Series time, American League will have home field advantage.
Right on the outside corner, 1-1 to Zobrist. Zobrist has fouled out to third and lined out to first. Mauer made a nice play in the 4th inning. Popped up. Plouffe over. He's going to have room. And how about that inning for Phil Hughes? So he is rolling along, and We're through 6 at the Coliseum. Twins nothing, A's nothing. Otero is back. It's good to see him pitch well last night. Struck out the side in the 7th inning. After a tough first half of the season and some time in the minor leagues, Otero back in the big leagues. We hope he's here to stay. He's needed in that bullpen.
Well, they had a sneaky fastball working last night with a good slider, good sinker, and as he talked about going to Nashville, he worked to get back here, and we saw what happened with Kendall Graveman when he went to AAA after 3 starts, and he's come back, and he may never see any minor league baseball again.
So Joe Mauer to lead it off. Scoreless game here in the 7th. Mauer, Sano, Plouffe. Rangers leading the Astros 7-6 now. That game in the bottom of the 9th inning. Wild game down at Minute Maid Park. Pitch is a little bit low, and now it's 3-0. Kazmir has walked 1. He has struck out 4. That one right in there for a strike. Eased it in there at 90 miles an hour.
I think one of the surprises around baseball is not seeing as many swings on 3-0. I mean, there's some clubs that will do it, but other hitters clubs that just won't even think about it.
On the ground, right to Zobrist, who has it. 1-1.
So which was better, the 3-0 or the 3-1? Maybe a little bit extra on the 3-1. Get me over a fastball 3-0. I'll go back to Jed Lowry last year, and I thought it was one of the most remarkable statements when asked about the most predictable pitch. 3-0, because you know you're going to get a fastball. He got it, hit a home run. But some guys can do it. Some guys try to jump out of their shoes and hit on 3-0. Others guys will take it. And Jason Mauer, he took a 3-0 with 3-1, a little bit extra fastball, velocity on the fastball, and got a ground out.
Here's Miguel Sano, who has struck out swinging and struck out looking. A strikeout in the first inning. A huge out because the bases were loaded with nobody out. 0-2 pitch, got it. Back-to-back changeups, and Sano had no chance.
And there's a case where a pitcher and a catcher might be looking at the swing of a hitter and seeing he's not handling the changeup. Throw it again, a little bit worse out of the strike zone, but same delivery. Pulled the string, hitter very aggressive, saying you can't be throwing me back-to-back changeups. But there's a great shot on the Exmo showing the grip with the circle changeup, and it's got Kazmir pulling the string perfectly.
So 2 outs for Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe was the hero last night with the grand slam. Tonight, he's hit into a pair of double plays. That number. Opponents average against the changeup since June 1st, under 100. The liner, and Simeon was able to hold on. So a 3-up, 3-down inning with a strikeout for Kazmir. We've reached the 7th inning stretch. Still no score.
California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
So bottom of the 7th inning. And a crowd of over 30,000. Runs tough to come by.
You were saying that last night down in Anaheim, and Mike Trout entered the 9th inning. And he did not miss. That's ball from Uehara.
So Reddick to lead it off. He's fouled out and grounded out. First pitch curve stays high. Rangers hung on to win that game over the Astros 7-6. Colby Lewis over Scott Feldman. Feldman came off the disabled list today to make that stop. Rangers hit 3 home runs. Josh Hamilton hit a homer. Rougned Odor hit a homer. Robinson Chirinos. So 7-6 final. Rangers over the Astros. 2-0 pitch is in for a strike.
I'd like to think a 2-0 fastball is going to be right in the middle of the plate, but even that 2-0 pitch was inside corner, and Josh did a good job of taking it, even though it was a strike.
Count now even at 2-2. Angels still leading the Red Sox 2-0. That game in the 5th inning. Garrett Richards pitching well for the Angels. Two pitch to Reddick. Here it is, and it's rolled foul. Looked like that cutter again. Yeah. Down and into Reddick.
There's the cutter just enough. Suzuki wanted it outside. Maybe go back door with a cut fastball, but ended up down and in. Still got the swing and a strike. again back door.
And it's flipped to left field. Rosario coming in, and did he catch it? He did. Well, he hesitated, and then he really had to come hustling in, and he just made the catch.
There's a difference. First inning, double. This one broke back, and then came in and a dive and backhand catch. Did not have the glove turned with the palm up. This one backhand, and when he rolled over, turned over the glove, kept it in his glove, and that's a nice recovery. Great play.
So 1 out for Butler. This pitch curve is low.
Now all of a sudden Phil Hughes can't throw first pitch right now.
It's really slowing him down.
He was 18 for 18 to start the game, and last inning, now he's actually just 1 for his last 5. What's wrong with him?
He's got him right where they want. Nice play down there again.
Scotty, your hero, buddy. All those, they don't watch it. They're just so confident in Scotty. They just stay there. It's it. Go get it, buddy.
Full confidence.
That's it. He worked hard in the All-Star break.
There is no concern that he's not going to make the play. Skied to center, hit well. Hicks is back. He's near the wall. He leaps. Gone. Butler to straightaway center to give the A's a 1-0 lead.
What a great swing. And thankfully, it is not fully dark and heavier air, because that ball kept carrying and carrying, and Billy Butler got the job done. So there's the run, Scott. 7th inning. 7 shutout innings for Scott Kazmir. And so maybe the fact that Phil Hughes, as duly noted, gives up a lot of home runs, and unfortunately for the A's, nobody was on in front of it, but still take the solo home run.
2-0 now to Ike Davis. Still only 1 out here in the 7th inning. It's a 23rd home run that Hughes has allowed this year. And there's a broken bat single to center field.
On the 1-1 pitch to Billy Butler, and see the rotation, but it came back towards the middle of the plate, and maybe a little cutter that he likes to throw. Billy Butler, though, I think he thought he got enough of it, even though the center fielder goes back, jumps up, thought he had a chance as he got to the wall and could not bring it back. But he played it well as he went to the wall, jumped up, and that's how close it came. But Phil Hughes hoping. He's given up 22, now 23. You know, that look has been there, and you can only hope so much for your outfielders. But remember, Butler singled sharply to right field, actually towards center field. So Scott Kazmir gets a run. So Billy Butler, a couple of opposite field hits, and this one a big one.
So Laurie steps in. Ike Davis now 2 for 2. A couple of singles and a walk. First pitch strike to Laurie. Action for the first time. Blaine Boyer, right-hander, starts to throw down the right field line. Laurie, a ground out and a fly ball to left field. One and one the count. One walk, 1 strikeout, and 1 home run allowed for Phil Hughes. Defense pretty straight away. Outside, good take by Laurie, just missed 2-1.
It's a sharp cutter. You can understand why hitters will be swinging to the pitch. I mean, you can recognize the spin, but you have to hope that it's on the corner. It's going to break off the plate, because that's a tough pitch not to swing at.
Bounces this one to the shortstop. They'll go to second to get it out there. Dozier hangs on, got handcuffed a little bit. So Laurie, a fielder's choice. 2 outs now here in the 7th with a run in on the Butler home run.
A little bit of a rollover and count in his favor, but maybe a little bit too aggressive.
So Canna hits. He had a base hit to right field in the 5th inning. Outside corner strike to Canna. 94 pitches for Phil Hughes. Bullpen is quiet. Right there again, 0-2. Canna's going to have to battle Hughes. Keep the ball away from Canna. He did that in the 5th inning. Canna hit a ball hard to right field for a base hit. Nicely by Kurt Suzuki, who's always been a good ball blocker.
Well, he moves around so well behind the plate, and see how he turns his catcher's mitt, kind of cups his upper body and puts the glove down to block the ball. Seeing a lot of bullpen coaches and working with the catchers before games and just working on their lateral movement, blocking balls. Something that at one time was never done before a game, but now it's done pretty consistently. Marcus Jensen does a great job with the A's catchers.
2-2. There's Marcus.
Assistant hitting coach and works with the catchers. Darren Bush, the hitting coach. Tom Bernanke saying for the first time this year, Twins have an assistant hitting coach.
It's the new thing in baseball. Canna fouls it to the backstop.
And I think the statement is pretty evident around baseball now that the assistant hitting coach says, wait a minute, you mean you used to do all this by yourself?
Yeah, that's true.
And so there is a lot in, between the cage and flipping and on the field. And so there they are, Darren Bush, hitting coach, and Marcus Jensen. Both. Bush, of course, was working with the catchers before, and Marcus Jensen taking over doing that. So both doing a very good job and working very well together.
Again, foul back. Speed pitch. Canna stayed with it.
First thing I'd like to see is Scott Emerson down in the bullpen with the left-handed catcher's mitt.
That's right. Scott wants to get on that mound and pitch so bad. So 2-2 the count. Laurie inches off at first. Setting up inside, and there's the cut fastball, and it caught the inside corner. Strike 3 call. He's going to run on Billy Butler's 8th home run of the year. So will it be enough? Find out as we head to the 8th. A's 1, Twins nothing.
13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
So Kazmir back to work. He now has a 1-0 lead, and he's got Sam Fuld in left field. So Phil Hughes has pitched well, but the long ball got him.
Still shaking his head about the pitch, and that close to being caught by a center fielder, but fortunately for the A's, it did go over the fence.
Zobrist backhands, throws quickly, and they get the speedy Rosario. Nice play by Ben Zobrist.
And I think there's a case of a second baseman, and we see it with Eric Sogard. When you have a strong enough arm, Ben Zobrist, of course, plays the outfield. You bring the strong arm into the infield. He can go backhand right over the top, get a little bit extra on the throw, and get out the speedy leadoff hitter in this inning, Rosario. And that's just a strong arm of an outfielder playing second base. Ben Zobrist, a very versatile member of the Athletics now, and that's a great play to start this inning.
One out for Aaron Hicks. Curve in for a strike. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts for Kazmir. Kazmir came into this start with the 5th best ERA in the American League. The closer's getting ready. There's the Ray Fosse drill.
Oh, I wish I could do that.
You can't. I know you can't. This one right here. Yeah, that's the one. High and deep, but well foul.
The sound was not good. The result was very good for the A's.
It hit right off Scott Kazmir's name on the sideboards. So the count 1-2 to Hicks, who is 1 for 2. Reach for the changeup, little pop up. Zobrist will take care of it. So you hit a ball a mile down the left field line foul, and then you come back with the changeup.
That's impressive. 80%, 3% team shutdown percentage. If the White Sox had that today, they would have beat the Kansas City Royals. They just didn't happen.
Lost in 13 innings.
Every time they scored, they gave it up.
Good pitch. It's a strike to Kurt Suzuki. The A's lead the American League with 12 shutouts. A little bit outside. 1-1 to Suzuki, who has hit a fly ball to right field and hit into a 6-4-3 double play. So Suzuki is 0 for 6 in the series. Hit to center. Burns going back. He's going to have room, and he makes the catch. So Scott Kazmir with a 3-up, 3-down inning. He's retired 10 in a row, and he walks off the mound with a 1-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Here's our game summary. It's brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 0-4-0 for the Twins, 1-6-0 for the A's. It was Billy Butler's home run in the 7th inning, a solo shot, and that's it for the runs so far. 5 double plays hit into in this game. Scott Kazmir. I'm good. Yep. All right. We'll see if Kazmir goes out there for the ninth. Trying for the shutout.
Well, the only way he would not is if the A's scored 2 or 3 more runs. But if it's this game, it's his game. And sometimes it's better. I would think the Twins would be looking forward to seeing somebody different because they've not done anything against Scott Kazmir. For Blaine Boyer, 43rd game. And he, like everybody else, throws hard.
Time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Oil Change Tune-Up and small experts. Boyer's been around. He's been with the Braves, Cardinals, Diamondbacks, last year with the Padres.
Sounds like he likes the National League before this year. Scott Kazmir said he's okay, good to go. He'd also like to see more runs on the board.
3-0 pitch is high, and it's a 4-pitch walk leading off the bottom of the 8th inning.
I saw his 18 strikeouts, 12 walks before walking Semien on 4 pitches. So that's a plus, something that's unusual for a Twins team. Paul Molitor knows, try to keep it at 1. That's always what a team tries to do on the road. In a home park, trailing by 1. A's want to add some insurance.
And with Burns' speed, he will force you to execute the defensive part of the bunt play.
Yep.
Not bunting, and he takes a strike on the outside. We've said that many times, Ray. You always, when you talk about a bunt situation, you always think about the hitter executing the bunt, but just as important, does the defense execute their part of the bunt play?
4 pitches for the walk, and maybe just force him Boyer to throw a strike and see what he does on the 0-1 if he think about bunting. But if he doesn't bunt, it would be because he's a tough man to double up. So if he is at first, good possibility of stealing second. Melvin is one making the calls to Mike Gallego, relaying those signs to the hitter and to the runner at first. You know, one of the things that, since Billy Burns does a good job of putting the bat on the ball, making contact, very rarely will he swing and miss a pitch, which means a hit and run is also the possibility.
That's Ryan O'Rourke, left-hander. Not bunting, hits it foul, rolls out in front of home plate. So 0-2 to Burns, with Stephen Vogt waiting in the on-deck circle.
And O'Rourke waiting in the bullpen. Yeah. It's probably the move that Paul Molitor would make.
Still hasn't got a sign, although it looks like they know what he's going to throw. He'll throw to first. That's what he's going to do. Semien, good speed at first. Outfield, as always, shallow. foul. How he hit it, I don't know.
Hit it before he hits his knee. Cutter down and in, and he just took the ball out of Kurt Suzuki's mitt. Out of the strike zone, no stride, just protecting, and it's been fun to watch.
So battling Blaine Boyer down in the count 0-2.
An interesting sequence watching Kurt Suzuki give a sign. Boyer taking a lot of time, almost as if Boyer was looking in and said, I don't like that sign, give me another one. Suzuki just kind of shook his catcher's mitt. Obviously it meant to throw to first base, or at least to step off, try to freeze the runner.
Way outside.
Threw him a pitch, he couldn't swing it.
No, he was not going to swing at that.
That's a trick. That's too many signs for nobody at second base, so they're going to throw the first pitch out and do something.
It seems like Boyer, Suzuki are making it a little more difficult than it really needs to be. Trying to get together.
Same thing he did last time.
Swing and a miss and struck him out. So he stayed with a fastball, and Burns strikes out for the first out.
Wanted the fastball in, a little two-seamer coming back, and have to strike out Billy Burns, which is rare.
So Boyer is done. O'Rourke is coming in, so we'll have lefty on lefty when we come back. Sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Joe Stiglitz will have post-game notes from this ball game, the Warriors Summer League highlights, and all the action from around Major League Baseball. Astros lost tonight. The Rangers won. The Mariners won, and the Angels are leading the Red Sox right now 3-0 in the 7th inning down at the Big A. So Ryan O'Rourke, left-hander, comes in to face Stephen Vogt. The word on O'Rourke is he's tough on left-handers. See if that's true. pitch, a hard slider down there.
And it's all about situational pitching, and that's why O'Rourke is in to face Stephen Vogt. Lefty on lefty, and righty in the bullpen gets loose.
There's the slider for a strike. First year in the big leagues for O'Rourke. Clipper now gets up, just starts to throw.
And the length of the inning might be affecting Scott Kazmir. That's always the possibility. And when you get into the bullpen this late in the game, it's a lot of batter to batter moves, which means it slows down the pace of the game in general.
Vogt would like to have that swing back. He's behind in the count 1-2. Simeon led off the inning with the walk, and then Burns struck out, and then the pitching change. Reach for, foul to right past Zobrist in the on-deck circle.
And when you have a switch hitter in the on-deck circle with Ben Zobrist, that's the that Neil Allen and Paul Malter, pitching coach, manager, have to decide which way they want him to hit. So the righty's warming up. Do they leave the lefty in and let him bat right-handed, or just turn him around? We shall see. Right now, Stephen Vogt, the most important hitter.
2-2 now. He's looking for an insurance run.
They stay outside with the slider. Stephen might just go to the opposite field, try to shoot a ball into the left field area with the open space.
And there's that slider from O'Rourke, and that's a good one. So you can see where he's a tough at bat for a left-handed hitter.
It is sharp breaking, and that's how you want to throw it. You want to throw it hard, and kept it down. You see the rotation. It's a great camera shot. Great to see the rotation of the slider. And you say, well, why did he swing at it? Because it's not that easy to see that pitch and see it and think it's a strike, and then it ends up in out of the strike zone.
So 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Ben Zobrist steps in. Easy Fine warming up. Runner goes, and they're going to let Simeon have the stolen base. Pitch was called the ball, and Simeon gets the steal.
But the jump he got, it's called first move. And now, of course, Zobrist, the right-hander, will he get a pitch to hit with Reddick, the lefty, in the on-deck circle? And that's why Suzuki just let him run. Didn't even try to throw him out.
High strike called to Zobrist to even up the count at 1-1. At the series finale tomorrow, Jesse Chavez and Tommy Malone set to square off. Slider down again. The Toronto Blue Jays will come to town after an off day on Monday. First look at the high scoring Blue Jays. Scoring a lot of runs, but still a 500 team right now, Blue Jays. They're a powerful team, leading all of the major leagues in run scoring.
Well, a team like that will start thinking about July 31st. A lot of times going into Canada, players will not sign to play north of the border. That's why the big trade with the Marlins to the Blue Jays with Burley and so many players ended up being trades. A's and Twins fans looking on together.
Outside, 3-1.
They're not pitching to him. They are just saying, yeah, they're going to put him on right now, not even worry about the 3-1, and take Josh Reddick trying to do something with 2 outs against the specially lefty.
So here comes Reddick.
Josh Reddick would love nothing more than to burn him right now. Try to do something.
Now batting right fielder, number 22.
Reddick is 0 for 3.
Reddick.
That robbed of a hit in the 7th inning. Hit kind of a soft sinking line drive. That Eddie Rosario, the left fielder, came in and made a nice diving catch. Down and away, 1-0.
And I said about Stephen Vogt going to left field. I'd say Josh Reddick also can be thinking about the same thing. And where the shortstop Escobar is playing, there is a huge hole on the left side. You see it there. Nope.
On the infield. And when it's all said and done, Dozier comes in to make the catch. Side retired. Scott Kazmir coming out. He's going for the shutout. The A's leading 1-0 as we head to the 9th. Is going for the shutout. His only other career shutout happened way back in 2006 when he was a member of the Rays. Shut out the Red Sox. A couple of walks, 10 strikeouts, a 2-hitter. He's allowed 4 hits tonight. He'll face Escobar, Dozier, and Hunter. If anybody were to get on, Joe Mauer, Clippard is ready in the bullpen. 2-1 to Eduardo Escobar, who's a switch hitter. A ground out and a fly ball to right field for Escobar. It's this one high and foul, so the count even at 2-2.
And with Clippard ready to go, this could be batter to batter. You never know what the manager Bob Melvin is thinking about. And see the pitch count 106. Clippard has been up and flowing since actually while the A's were hitting the bottom of the 8th inning. So Kazmir said he's good to go. That's the decision right there to be made based on what happens.
Sliced foul.
And it's so rare to see a pitcher actually go to the 9th inning, starting pitcher. Pitch count will allow that. Torrey Hunter is due up 3rd in the inning.
Pitch tapped slowly. Going to be a tough play. Laurie charges. He's got it. Throws. Got it. Heck of a play by Laurie.
That was a great play because speed, slowly hit ball, And Brett Laurie had to make sure that he made the play, but not to make a play in which the ball goes down the line. So a bang play. Brett Laurie, perfect. It's almost like saving a perfect game with a play like that. What a great play by Brett Laurie, and a stretch on a high throw. Ike Davis on the other end as Escobar jumped to the bag, and he got it. Scott Kazmir loves it.
So one away. Here's Dozier. Change up, and he waves at it. Missed it.
No bare hand. Get it in the glove. That well-used glove, and very familiar with it. That's how close it was to making the out.
Another changeup. Dozier missed it. 0-2.
If he does it again, he'd get the same result. Back-to-back changeups. Looks like a fastball hitter, and he pulled the string perfectly.
He went with it a third time. This one is low.
Thing that Dozier does do on the 2 strikes, he doesn't stride. He uses his legs, but his upper body as well. That's what helped him have the 2 walk-offs.
Laurie spins, throws, and he throws wide, and that's going to allow Dozier to go to second. He makes the turn, and he stops at second. So it's going to be a base hit and an E5.
Well, the problem he had, once he caught the ball, he spun and threw it while he was spinning, and that's going to take the momentum towards second base. At least catch the ball, spin, stop, and kind of make a throw towards second base or towards first base accurately, so the most he's going to get out of is a base hit.
So Kazmir will get a rousing ovation, well deserved. So 8 1/3 stellar innings tonight from Scott Kazmir, and he leaves with a 1-0 lead. Clippert coming in. We'll be back.
Presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
So Scott Kazmir can only sit and watch now. The tying run is at second base. A great performance by Kazmir. So Clippert is in to face Torrey Hunter.
Watch the ambush.
That one got hope.
Right hand. You got him in the right hand. You protect the hand with the runner on base so you can use both hands to block. Watch the right hand. And it comes off the bat. Bam, right there. That's why you keep it kind of limp. You don't want to make a fist, because you make a fist, you could do some serious damage. But he had it kind of loose, which, if anything, is going to help him, although it hurt. Just another bag of ice. But it was a changeup, and not surprised that Torrey Hunter was swinging.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and small experts. Oh, 0-1 to Torrey Hunter, who is 1 for 3 tonight. Changeup fouled right at home plate, and now Clippard's ahead in the count 0-2. Joe Mauer will be next. So, a ball game tonight. Great pitchers duel. Billy Butler's home run in the 7th inning, the only run in the game. Birthday numbers for Torrey Hunter. 0-2 pitch, a fastball.
Stephen Vogt almost setting up like the old-time catchers and wanting the high fastball. And while it was up in the zone, Stephen said, just foul it someplace other than off my body, which it did listen.
Pitch, it hit Torrey Hunter. So Clippard was ahead in the count, and the ball just kind of ran in. It looked like a changeup, and it was.
Man, the elbow pad is there for a reason, and Torrey Hunter took it. Oh, got him on the hand, missed the elbow. Looked like he got him the elbow, moved it back, but I think the left hand was involved.
So Mauer steps in. On deck is Sano. Joe Mauer, 292 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. There's 1 out here. And the first pitch is strike. Mauer has walked, singled, and grounded out.
High changeup, and Joe Mauer looking for something other than the changeup, and maybe think of the pitch was out of the strike zone. That bat looks like it's about 30 inches long, weighs about 22 ounces. That's why he waits as long as he does.
Just a bit high with fastball at 92. Hits in the game for the Twins. Swing and a miss, and that one was by Mauer. He waits a long time. It looked like he was looking for an off-speed pitch.
That time it did. You're right, and he was very tardy on the fastball, and while he was late on his swing, happy with no contact, because a swing like that usually is going to result in ball hit to left field. So he could go change up, fastball, he's got a curve. He's going to pitch and throw whatever he wants, and Stephen Vogt just went through 3 different sets of sides.
Mauer had a pretty good swing that time, lost it foul down the left field line. So the count remains 1-2. There's your runners. Dozier at second. Torrey Hunter at first. Dozier not getting a real big lead at second base. Simeon staying close by. He gets back to his proper position when the pitch is thrown. And a good take there by Joe Mauer as that one dropped down and in.
That was a curveball and a pitch that he does not throw a lot. But at least to put in the back of the hitter's mind, who hitters know anyway with the scout reports what he does throw, but predominantly fastball, changeup pitcher, and trying to get a swing and a miss on top of a curveball.
Two pitch is sliced foul, and that one was a pitch to hit right there. It was the changeup, but it was right up out over the plate.
I think because Joe Mauer waits as long as he does, this is what happens. See the changeup, it's high, he's on it, but it fouls it back. And if he is overly aggressive, he might roll over and hit a ground ball, but he waited back and it's a foul ball.
And now it's 3-2.
Now he's going to pull a string now.
Yep.
I think Mark Teixeira, New York. It's from a 3-2 changeup to end the game. If he can get through Mauer, he's got Sano, who has been swinging a lot of changeups tonight, especially with the Clippers delivery. So this is a big pitch, big bat.
Hit high in the air toward right. Reddick goes back, still going back. He's at the wall. He leaps. He can't get it. One run's coming in to score. They're going to stop Hunter at third, and this game is tied.
Sat on the changeup. He got the changeup, and he almost hit it out. And that is Joe Mauer at his best. I mean, to be able to foul off the tough pitches, and Clippard throwing the changeup, and Mauer with the pitch down in the inner part of the plate, and he almost hit it out.
Yep. And the runners really had to wait to make sure Reddick didn't catch it, and that actually helped the A's.
Yeah, exactly. And really, it wasn't close. Nope. It's closer to being a home run that Reddick to catch the ball, and you know, he almost, if he had thrown it for a ball, but he threw it and it was a strike, and it happened to be down and in. And so pinch runner for Torrey Hunter, infield has to play in.
First pitch, changeup, check swing, and he did not go. So that's Shane Robinson. There's your pinch runner. Dozier scores. Infield in. Sanoa has struck out 3 times tonight. Swing and a miss. Good changeup there by Clippard.
He's got to throw him changeups every pitch.
Yeah.
And just if you're going to throw a fastball, waste it. But I mean, this kid is aggressive, and just hope that he keeps swinging hard and over the changeups the way he just did.
That's Perkins, the closer, and he's a good one. Reddick back. Robinson tagging. Reddick has it. Here comes the throw. They're going to throw it toward third. Robinson scores, and the Twins have taken the lead here in the 9th, 2-1. So Sano got a fastball, and he hit it deep enough to right field to get the sacrifice fly.
Unless they were trying to waste it, and of course it ended up too much in the middle of the plate, and really it's all the kid was trying to do, and he hit it deep enough. Reddick had no chance to throw out Robinson to the plate, so figuring that if Bauer was going to try to go to third to come him off,
So here's Plouffe. Mauer at second, 2 outs.
I'll be honest with you, I was shocked he got a fastball. With the way he's been swinging wildly at changeups tonight, I thought he was going to get a steady diet of changeups. But he got the one fastball, and it just happened to be one that he could hit deep enough. He had struck out. He struck out 3 times before this at bat.
Twice swinging, once looking.
So a 94 fastball by in the first at bat. And kept throwing changeups. So Perkins will be coming in, trying to keep his save record perfect. And he is going to have to come back from at least 1 down.
It'll be Butler, Davis, and Laurie, the 3 hitters for the Athletics. Swing and a miss. So Plouffe strikes out, but the Twins score twice here in the top of the 9th to take the lead. So Perkins coming in, see if the A's can have a little magic in the bottom of the 9th. We'll be back. Having one heck of a year. Has not blown a save.
No.
So he's 28 out of 28. He's been an all-star the last couple years, and that's what stands in the way of the Athletics. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. It's your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So there's the numbers. A 1.21 ERA. 28 for 28. Opponents hitting 188 against the left-hander. Glenn Perkins. So the first pitch from Perkins to Butler is inside.
This was the battery last year in the All-Star game. Shane Robinson stays the game, play left field. And right field is Rosario, who moves over. Perkins and Suzuki closed out the 2014 All-Star game at Target Field. Gave Kansas City Royals a home field advantage, but I think they said 5 of the last 6 times the World Series has been won by a team with a home field advantage, but last year was not the case. American League will have it again this year. 3 fastballs all inside to Billy Butler. This has been a matchup of consistency, I'm sure. Josh Fegley to pinch hit for Ike Davis.
Butler hits it in the air toward Rosario, who's in and over toward the line, and he's got it for out number 1. So here comes Fegley for Davis.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Mike Davis had a couple of singles and a walk.
Bob Melvin hoping that Josh Phegley can turn a fastball from the left-hander around, turn it around a little bit. Pomeranz just in case.
Slider in for a strike to Phegley. Good first pitch strike by Perkins.
Hit by pitch, that man with 2 strikes. Torrey Hunter.
So Phegley pops it up right side. And Mauer has it. So 2 outs. 116 career saves for Perkins. Joe Nathan, the all-time saves leader. Perkins was originally a starter for the Twins and then kind of became a setup man. He was very good as a setup man, and then he eased himself into the closer's role in 2012. And he's really turned into one of the better ones. 0-1 to Laurie. And that's a ball. Thought he was going to call the strike. Laurie tonight is 0 for 3. Did reach on a fielder's choice in the 7th inning. We're now 1-2. Hit hard, diving play. Escobar gets up, throws, not in time. Laurie with the great speed beats the throw, and the A's are still alive.
What a play by the young shortstop, and it took all-out hustle by Brett Laurie to avoid being thrown out because of this play, and it was bang bang. Strong throw. Young man has a strong arm, but that's how close the play was at first, and Brett Laurie just beat it.
So Smolinski's going to hit. This was Sam Fold's spot. Remember, Fold came in the game. So it's Smolinski for Fold.
Hit the ball hard last night in a pinch hit appearance. Did hard to center field.
First pitch. Rattles around. Laurie's going to go to second. He'll make it.
That hit somebody. I thought it hit the left foot of Smolinski, but it may have hit the umpire. But whatever, it allowed. Yeah, it hit the umpire's right foot. He kept it in front, but Brett Laurie with a secondary lead and getting into scoring position.
Kurt's thinking it was going to go to the backstop, and it hit the foot. Little flare, left field, base hit, we're tied. The wild pitch helps the A's, and Smolinski just a little flip shot to left field.
And the first blown save of the year for Perkins, and for Brett Laurie, who gets the base hit. Smolinski scores him after the wild pitch. They jammed him, but hit it just softly enough and just hard enough to get to left field. So Jake Smolinski joins the club and comes up big with a base hit to tie the game and give Glenn Perkins his first blown save of the season, and the A's a chance to win it. Made the pitch, but the hustle by Brett Laurie to beat out the infield hit. Goes to second on the wild pitch, and just like that with 2 outs, the A's have tied the game. Brett Laurie, he had to be happy because it was his play and his error that put the tying run at second base. And so for him to hustle, to beat out the infield single and score the tying run, that's great.
So 0-2 to Simeon. Half swing, foul ball, rolls up the third base line. So a wild 9th inning. Simeon waits, and the pitch is hit fair. No, they're calling it foul. Wolf fielded it, threw it across the diamond, but they're calling it foul.
It had the hooking action on it, and at that point, the third base umpire's call, and he deemed it to go foul. Did not cross the bag.
Wolf playing close to the line. They're deep in left field. That's Robinson, but shallow in right. It's interesting. This is usually a spot, I guess, where you play maybe a little deeper. Kind of cut off the ball in the gap.
Yeah. If he's in second, they would play shallow, prevent the run from scoring. But you're right, no doubles, figured run at first.
Fastball swing and a miss by Simeon. Side retired. A's come back and score with 2 outs to tie up the game. So we're headed to extra innings. It's a 2-2 game.
Music Fireworks Night presented by the Chevron Techron Advantage Credit Card. It's Friday, July the 31st. Fans can watch the post-game fireworks show from the outfield grass, but as always, on-field capacity is limited. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/fireworks. Trading deadlines and fireworks on the same night here at the Coliseum, and that should be a very enjoyable night. And this is a very enjoyable game as Drew Pomeranz got up just in case. He's tied the game, and they did. So he comes on to pitch, and he will pitch to Josh Figley.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. So Pomeranz comes in. And now the change is Figley will catch, pinch hit. Stephen Vogt slides over to first base. Smolinski is now in left field. So Pomeranz facing Eddie Rosario. Curve just a bit high. There's Smolinski. We got the 2-out RBI hit to tie up this game. Two and 0. It'll be Rosario, Hicks, and Suzuki here in the 10th inning. Rosario has grounded out twice and hit a fly ball to center field. Taken all the way, and it's in for a strike. Casey Fine starts to throw. noticed that one was past Rosario.
Well, the biggest pitch was the 2-0 fastball for a called strike because Pomeranz is living up in the zone. This one, though, also up, but by the left-handed hitter.
Setting up outside. Swing and a miss. Cool right by him. Rosario had no chance on either of those last 2 pitches.
And both might have been on the strike zone, but they looked so good coming in, and Fagley wanted it down low and away and pitched it up a little bit, but a good fastball from the hard-throwing left-hander, and Pomeranz has a good fastball.
So 1 away. Here's switch hitter Aaron Hicks. Curve and a good one by Pomeranz in first strike. 1 hit tonight for Hicks. That was a signal back in the 5th inning. Another curve snaps in their first strike. 0-2.
Knuckle curve, and it does come in perfectly to the outside part of the plate. And you see a lot of hitters, the right-handers, doing exactly that.
Fastball that time. Hicks actually had a pretty good swing. Mahika starts to throw. Six hits for the Twins, 8 hits for the Athletics. Another fastball fouled straight back. So 2 fastballs that Hicks has had good swings on. Maybe time to go back to the knuckle curve.
He might be sitting on it this time, though, after fouling off 2 pretty good fastballs, or fouling the fastballs.
There was the curve. It drops low. So a full count. It was 0-2. So 1-2. I'm sorry.
Well, that's a good place to throw the curveball. If you're going to come back after he fouled off a couple of fastballs, throw the curveball in the dirt, try to get him to chase. That you could back it up with another one. And he's going to. Just shook it off. Going to go fastball inside. Running it hard.
And that one hit high in the air toward left center, but playable for Smolinski. So 2 outs.
It's amazing how hitters and what they think when they see a pitcher shake, because they have in their mind what they think they're going to get, and he had to be thinking curveball again maybe, and he shakes, and that's a pretty good swing on a fastball. It got it in on his hands quite nicely, but that's why sometimes a catcher will force a pitcher to shake just to get a hitter to think. But in the case here, after 2 very good curveballs and 1 in the dirt, swung very well at fastballs. But I think Hicks initially was looking curveball, ended up getting a fastball.
So with 2 outs, nobody aboard, Suzuki hits. Hurt with a fly out. Hit into a double play and another fly out. Suzuki 0 for 7 in the series. Just not having the kind of year offensively that the Twins expected, especially after a really good season last year. He was an all-star last year. Numbers are well down this year. Bounces that one. Laurie's got it. Fires across, and Pomeranz has a 3-up, 3-down 10th inning. So now we're on to the bottom of the 10th. A's will try to win it. It's 2-2 game. So the Twins have gone back to their bullpen when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Casey Fiend comes in. Appearance number 28. He is the 5th pitcher of the night for the Twins. Hughes, Boyer, O'Rourke, Perkins, and now Fiend. So the A's were able to get to Glenn Perkins, give him his first blown save of the year.
And watching him in the dugout, as we did between innings, he couldn't believe it. Because he gives up an infield hit, a wild pitch, and then a base hit to left field by Smolinski. So the A's will try to do something they last did on June the 10th against the Texas Rangers, their first walk-off of the year.
So Burns to lead it off against Fiend. First pitch is popped up foul territory. Nobody's going to get it. It'll hop up into the seats. Burns tonight is 1 for 4. He singled in the very first inning. Burns now 2 for 8 in the series. Swing and a miss. Fiend went up the ladder just a little bit. So 0-2 to Burns. He'll be followed by Vogt and Zobrist. Miles an hour. That would have hurt. Yeah, that would have sounded like it would hurt.
That would have gone right to the rib cage, and that would not have been one where you want to take one for the team. Let's see if Fiend throws hard.
Just a touch off the plate. Love to get the speedy Burns on. Not close.
Well, just sit fastball and try to swing at a strike, and if it's a ball, take your base and see what Stephen Vogt can do.
Right down the middle, and Burns slaps it foul. Corey Hunter out of the game.
Still looks as young as he did when he was a kid. Huh? Looks 40 today.
So another 3-2.
Got to stay fastball. Got to go inside. At least the setup that way.
Right center, and that is going to get down. Burns digging for second. He'll make it with a head first slide, and it's a leadoff double here in the bottom of the 10th.
You see the A's dugout. They'd like to see Billy Burns and show off his speed, and went the fastball in. Billy Burns pulled the hands in. Nice swing, and forced the ball to not stay up long enough for the speed to get to the ball. And the amazing thing with the speed, watch how quickly the ball comes back in, way off line by Hicks. Burns with a head first slide. But that's what the speed will do. He's saying get down, and then turn it on. And once he hit the bag and turned it on, I mean, that was a thing of beauty.
So here's Vogt, first pitch, swinging at a ball that was down and in, and he rolls it foul. So a hit could win it for the Athletics. Runner goes, throw to third, not in time. A stolen base. How about that gutsy move by Billy Burns?
Very, especially with a left-handed hitter. but they were not paying attention to him, and that's what happens sometimes with a reliever. They really do not think about base runners, and Billy Burns got it. That's how close it was, that close to being caught stealing. Kurt Suzuki laid it on the bag. Plouffe got the ball. If it's on the bag, he's out. He had to take it down just enough, and that's the difference. And how many times have you said it? If you see the runner going, take the pitch, because you don't want to line into a double play. Everybody in outfield is playing very too deep for this situation, but let them play there.
0-2 pitch to Vogt, a fastball outside. Vogt tonight is 0 for 4, so he's due. Setting up outside. And there's a base hit, and the A's are going to win it. A run in the ninth to tie it, a run in the 10th to win it. Celebration time at the Coliseum, and what a ball game tonight. So Vogt singles home Burns, and we got a walk-off party here in Oakland.
June 10th to July 18th, not bad. Sure, they didn't want to have it to go this way, but they'll take it anyway. A game that took 3 hours. The last 2 innings took about an hour, because this was speeding right along, but the A's had to do it in extra innings.
So a lot of swings of emotion in the last 20 minutes or so, but when it's all said and done.
Does it remind you of anything? How about game 2 of the division series against the Tigers, 2013? Stephen Vogt with an opposite field base hit with a game-winning walk-off in a game the A's had to win before heading back to Detroit. He does it again tonight with a pitch outside. Great approach by the All-Star. He knew it. He takes it, and the A's win it in extra innings and walk-off fashion. How about that?
So 42nd win of the year, and the A's will take it. So Kazmir pitched right.
Yes, he did.
Twins took the lead in the ninth. A's tied it in the bottom of the ninth, and Vogt is your hero, with some credit to Billy Burns, who led it off with a double and then had the stolen base to get him to third.
Absolutely.
Stephen Vogt wins it for the Athletics tonight. So it was quite a ball game. Emotions all over the board, but when it's all said and done, the A's get the win, and it was a well-deserved win because of how great Scott Kazmir pitched. So Stephen Vogt is downstairs. He is the hero tonight with a little help from Billy Burns. But Stephen, right before the pitch, Ray and I said, Stephen Vogt is due. He's 0 for 4, so congratulations. I'm sure you probably felt the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to credit Billy Burns with everything there in that last inning. What a great at-bat. Fights it off, gets a hustle double, and obviously takes third, and gives us 3 opportunities to get him in. So fortunately, that was where I was at. Just don't try and do too much. You got 2 great hitters behind me that can get it done too.
Stephen, one of the things, and as a catcher, whenever somebody is stealing, how you want to think about letting him steal, especially with a left-handed hitter stealing third base. How hard was it for you to see that happen and let it develop? I mean, he just barely made it, but he did steal third.
100%. As long as I have less than 2 strikes, I'm going to let him steal that base right there. I have a lot of confidence in with 2 strikes, so I want to let him get there, because then we're going to get 3 opportunities to get him in from third. So I was very happy to just let him go, and obviously Billy just makes things happen with his speed.
Well, let's talk about Scott Kazmir. You were the man behind the plate tonight for most of the night, and boy, he was terrific. Heads up. We may have lost Stephen for the moment. He's got a little bit of everything on him. Well, we'll see if we can get Stephen back. If we can't, is he back?
Are you back, Stephen? We hope you are.
Stephen, do you hear us?
Hello.
There you are. Thank you, Stephen. You're there. We got you.
We were asking you about Kazmir. I mean, he was terrific. You feel bad he gets a no decision, but he had it all working tonight after a little bit of a rough first inning.
Scott was outstanding. He obviously, we wish we could have got him the win. I mean, this was a great win for us, dramatic comeback, after blowing the lead. But Scott deserved to win this game. He deserved to go the distance, and unfortunately, he just wasn't able to. But I think it's poetic justice that we were able to pull out the win for him. He threw so well the whole night.
Steven, it's been a great ride for you. And of course, All-Star, we could talk to you for a long time, but we were talking also about your big hit against the Tigers when you got a chance to play walk-off, very similar to tonight. How much thinking about opposite field instead of trying to pull his pitch just to make sure with the infield in, just to go opposite field the way you did?
I mean, you just have to be a hitter in that opportunity, in that instance. You can't try and do too much. You can't try and drive the ball out of the yard. You don't need that. You just need a nice easy hit, and usually the other way is where they're going to pitch you. They're not going to come in that situation. So fortunately, I was able to get the ball over the plate and up and not try to do too much with it.
And that is the game winner right there. So, Steven, congratulations. You got mobbed pretty well, but it's all worth it.
Nice I'm freezing, and I can't tell you how happy I am to be freezing.
What kind of referee call would you give that? I mean, I was waiting for the big referee call to get the whistle and do it.
That's a double technical. Let's go home. That's what that is.
Perfect.
We agree. Thanks, Steven. We appreciate it.
Good night.
So, heck of a ball game tonight, and it was a game that you felt bad for a while, and the A's really needed to win it because of what Kazmir did. And listen, the team's grinding a little bit offensively, but when you get well-pitched games, you don't need to score a lot. And tonight was a perfect example.
Well, and I think, as Stephen Vogt said, it'd been nice to get Kaz a win, but he pitched so well, pitching the ninth inning. I think the best sign was when Bob Melvin went up to him in the bottom of the eighth inning. He said, "I can go. I'm ready to go." And that's what you want to hear and see from a starting pitcher. And Kazmir did it, got the first out on a great play, and unfortunately did not get the win. But the A's were able to win. And I think this is what makes this ball club exciting. And see 30,000 fans on hand tonight to watch a ball club pitch well in Scott Kazmir and then to win it in extra innings the way they did. Even though, I tell you what, in the ninth inning, the way the Twins came back, Mauer almost hitting a 3-run home run instead. Great job by Clipper to get out of it, just allowing the tying run and the go-ahead. But for the A's to come back was just unbelievable.
Yeah, over 30,000 tonight here at the Coliseum, and they see extra innings, and they see an extra inning win for the Athletics. The final score tonight, the A's 3 and the Twins 2 in 10 innings. You've been watching Oakland A's Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Brody and Shooty starts right now.